11 Alive News at 11 p.m. starts now.
The citizens of Hampton, the county of Henry, the metro Atlanta area, and the entire state of Georgia can breathe a little easy. Tonight, the monster's dead.
Tonight, the suspect in a Hampton mass shooting is dead, killed in a gunfire battle with law enforcement. The mourning for the victims, now identified, begins. In Hampton, the investigation into the murder of 4 people underway. Why did a gunman open fire on a quiet residential street? The search for the suspect was intense. It stretched into the overnight hours, and it ended today with death and injury. Late this afternoon, the trail picked up for the suspect, Andre Longmore. Authorities were able to zero in on a home along Wagon Wheel Court in Jonesboro. That's when they closed in. They found themselves in a shootout. When it ended, Longmore was dead, and 3 law enforcement personnel were hurt. Meanwhile, we've learned more about the 4 people who were gunned down, all in their 60s, and lived in a subdivision in Hampton. We have team coverage for you now. 11 Alive's Teresa Bowles has information on the victims and the reaction in Hampton. But we begin with Molly Oak at the scene in Jonesboro, where this all ended.
Yeah, this is where it all went down, at a home right down the street behind me. We talked with neighbors and people who were at that house when the shootout ended. In a Clayton County neighborhood, 2 friends planned to start their Sunday with a backyard barbecue.
We opened up the door to put the coal into the grill and stuff. A naked guy with a gun came jumping off the cliff. So let us in the house, let me in the house and stuff.
Corey Cloud was staying at his friend Justin's place off Wagon Wheel Court.
He was just like, I'm a good person, can you please let me in?
Corey says he immediately shut the door while Justin went to find police to tell them there was a man with a gun crouched down by their back door.
The police charged in there and we hear all these gunshots.
Justin says he heard the shots from outside his home. Jimmy Jones says he heard them from his house 1 street over.
I heard at least a good 9 shots go off.
Corey says he heard the shots too.
All you hear is his bullets.
Because he says he was inside the house when it happened.
Right in front of me. I was trying to squeeze behind the sofa.
Corey and Justin say they had no idea who the man was when they got police. After they learned that man was Andre Longmore, the suspect in Saturday's shooting that left 4 people dead in Hampton and injured 2 officers and a deputy in the shootout.
At that point, I was just happy that he didn't shoot first.
Right.
We didn't,
he jumped out. Oh, we were just standing out there chilling. He could have shot all 3 of us right then and there.
Tonight, Corey's thankful they're alive. 2 officers and a deputy were taken to a hospital. Henry County Sheriff's Office tells me that they're all expected to be okay.
All right, thank you. Now to 11 Alive's Teresa Bowles with more on the victims and those who knew them. Teresa?
Jeff, neighbors are trying to remember their final moments with these victims, trying to hold it together after a terrifying 2 days. Larry Pritchard says he has lived in the Dogwood Lakes neighborhood for over 20 years.
It's always sad when you learn that somebody's been hurt. That's kind of like a blow in the gut.
He had no idea of the hurt being brought on his neighbors right outside of his Hampton home.
Yesterday will certainly go down as one of the saddest in the 150-year history of this city. We tragically lost 4 citizens, and this community is grieving.
Especially the Dogwood Lakes neighborhood. They lost 4 of their own, Scott and Shirley Leavitt, Steve Blizzard, and Ron Jeffers. Henry County Sheriff Reginald Scandrett says Andre Longmore shot and killed them Saturday morning. Law enforcement finally hunted him down, finding him in Clayton County after a shootout with police.
The monster's dead.
Still, the community is picking up the pieces. Pritchard lives 2 houses down from the Leavitts.
We would, wave and say hello almost every time we saw them. Scott was retired military.
Pritchard didn't know that he waved goodbye for the last time. He had a special place in his heart for his neighbors who served the country. That's how Pritchard remembers Steve Blizzard, too.
He was ex-military also, so we had that, I don't know, call it a bond.
As for Ron Jeffers, his church community is remembering him as well. Pinecrest Baptist Church saying a quick prayer during service.
Thank you for the testimony of Brother Ron, the kindness he treated others with, the song that he had in his heart and that he shared with others.
And while the community rests a little easier holding on to their faith, the healing journey is just beginning. There will be a vigil tomorrow at 7:30 at Terry Jones Depot Park here in Hampton. The community is welcome to join. Live in Hampton, Teresa Bowles, 11 Alive News.
For more on the violence in Hampton, the very latest information from law enforcement, 11alive.com is your place for all of the updates. Under weather, meteorologist Nicole Hartford is here with a look at the days ahead, and it is hot. It is very hot.
It is hot, and it's getting hotter. You know, we're in the dog days of summer. This is around the time where it starts to get a lot less comfortable here in North Georgia, and that will certainly be the case this week. High temperatures today did manage to get up into the low to mid 90s, a little bit above our seasonal averages. And we're still sitting at 82 degrees right now in Atlanta, with winds out of the north-northwest at about 10 miles per hour. Humidity is actually a little bit lower. You may have already noticed it today. It wasn't quite as sticky outside as what it was on Saturday or on Friday, but our humidity is still high enough to give us a feels like temperature a couple degrees warmer than the actual air temperature. With our drier air, didn't see any rainfall today. A couple of those clouds looked a little gray, perhaps like they might bring about some rainfall, but our radar managed to stay dry. Aside from clouds, we're not looking at much of anything through the overnight hours. As you wake up tomorrow morning, some cloud cover builds in, or at least stays with us, and overnight low temperatures actually get a little bit cooler. We'll get down into the upper 60s as well as the low 70s tomorrow morning. 71 degrees for your morning temperature in Atlanta, so pretty comfortable to start off the day. Now, that lower humidity sticks around for the first half of the week, but we're paying the price. Temperatures are on the rise. We're talking near record heat by Wednesday. I'll break down how long this heat wave lasts coming up.
All right, Nicole, thank you. Other headlines we're following for you on this Sunday night. A crash in mid-Georgia claims the life of an Atlanta woman. It occurred along I-75 in Peach County near the city of Byron. The GSP says northbound traffic coming to a stop due to road maintenance. A tractor trailer found itself unable to stop, then struck 7 other vehicles. We've learned the driver of the first car hit by the trailer, 57-year-old Deborah Washington of Atlanta. She died from her injuries in the crash. This crash shut down I-75 for a number of hours before reopening just after 4 o'clock this morning. Earlier today, a viewing was held at Murray & Son Funeral Home for Tovis Raines Jr., the mortuary on the same stretch of road where he was murdered. He was shot multiple times last weekend. The search for the shooter or shooters continues. No update from law enforcement. All new at 11, Atlanta police ending its weekend investigation into a homicide in the city's Oakland City neighborhood. This took place around 7:30 tonight at a townhome complex along Oakland Drive Southwest, right across the street from the Reverend James Orange Park. All APD is telling us here is that they found one man critically injured from a gunshot wound. He was taken to Grady. There he later died. No ID given on the victim, and there is no suspect in custody at this point. This afternoon, a celebration of life held at Ebenezer Baptist Church for a member of the King family. Dr. Christine King Ferris eulogized by friends and family today. The older sister of Dr. King, the 95-year-old King Ferris, passed on June 29th. Ebenezer Baptist Senior Pastor, Senator Reverend Raphael Warnock, presided over the service, which included Ambassador Andrew Young. Senator Warnock spoke on the rich life of the educator and civil rights advocate.
We live by grace and mercy and forgiveness, and the greatest of these is love. And Christine Ferris was love. She loved us all, whether we deserved it or not, and she loved us more when we didn't deserve it. But that's when we need love.
It was placed on the John Lewis carriage, then taken to Auburn Avenue past the King Center and the King family birth home. More people are seeking the services of the Mental Health Crises Line. Today marks 1 year since the crisis line went live, and 988 is a national emergency line, much like 911, but for mental health. 11 Alive's Christy Diaz now takes a look back at the last year.
Since 988 went live in July of last year, call volume has increased 12%.
So a tremendous increase in the number of people calling for help.
Tiana Bridges was one of those people.
I was like, I have pills in my hand right now, and I really want to take it. He was like, no, let's talk, let's breathe first, and then let's talk about what got you to this point.
It didn't solve everything, but that 45-minute conversation lifted her out of darkness and started her in a new direction.
It just made me feel like I'm stronger, I can beat this.
There are over 200 crisis centers nationwide where people answer these calls and texts. Kevin Tanner, the commissioner of Georgia's Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities, says in these moments, seconds count, which is why he's so proud they've improved call response time.
We've been able to bring the time to answer the call down from 200 plus seconds down to, on average, just over 7 seconds over the last several months.
The next step, he says, is to work on the mobile units, the 2-person team that responds to a crisis call in person.
The goal is to reach everyone in Georgia within 1 hour. We obviously have not met that yet. We're working toward that.
They're also working to get the word out. 35% of people in Georgia have heard of 988, but only half of those people understand what it is. As they start educating and marketing, they expect call volume to increase.
Even though we're answering those calls in 7 seconds, as the call volume increases, and we know that it's going to, we're going to see that answer time start ticking up, which means we need to invest and be ready to answer that call.
Commissioner Tanner will travel around the state to meet with sheriffs to talk about 988 and make sure that they know it is an option. But as the calls and texts increase, because of that, they are looking for providers, nurses, and social workers to answer these calls and texts. It is a big challenge they are facing right now. A Georgia alum with a journey of faith travels from Athens, joins the Israeli military. When we come back, we'll share her story. She is a Georgia alum living 6,000 miles away in the Middle East, but her family roots planted deeply here in Atlanta. Ron Jones tells about the transition from majoring in childhood development at UGA to joining the Israeli military. It's a story you'll only see right here on 11 Alive.
My mom loves to this day still watching Georgia football games. It's one of her favorite things to do.
And for good reason, because her daughter Judy Seigner is a Georgia Bulldog too.
Great 4 years at UGA.
Judy is named after her grandmother, Trudy, German for Judy, who escaped the Nazis in Europe and later married in the U.S. Judy's great-grandmother, a victim of the Holocaust. Hoping to connect with her Jewish roots, Judy traveled to Israel as a rising senior.
And I just felt really strongly that I wanted to come and visit Israel, and I thought that it was an important part of who I am.
Hooked. It was back to Israel after graduating in 2013.
And then decided to come back. Thought maybe this would be a great spot to spend a little bit of time and learn some Hebrew.
She felt compelled to join the Israeli military.
If I'm going to be here my whole life, then I want to have also contributed to that country in that way.
Quickly promoted to lieutenant, she's one of only a small group of women in military leadership.
I would honestly say that as a woman in the military, I didn't feel any less than anybody else.
This Georgia Bulldog was on the fast track.
I served as an instructor for chemical warfare and for search and rescue, which means that we were teaching soldiers and reserve duty soldiers how to rescue people from buildings that have crashed due to rocket fire.
Training civilians too. A family was able to get to safety during a rocket attack. Lieutenant Judy shared it on Facebook.
The mother knew what to do with her infant child and her 2 other kids, ran into the bomb shelter and saved all of their lives together only because they knew what they were supposed to do.
Now a reservist, and even though she's 6,000 miles away, you can still hear her rooting on the dogs from Jerusalem.
Loves cheering on the dogs.
Oh, of course.
Of course, how can you not?
Judy flies back to the U.S. often, doing nonprofit work. Her mother and brothers still live here in Metro Atlanta. On to meteorologist Nicole Hartford with the grim details of a forecast that will have us sprinting from AC to AC to AC.
I mean, it really will. You have to look for the silver linings, I think, in the forecast for the next couple of weeks or next couple of days, and honestly, probably the next couple of weeks as well. But humidity and lower humidity at that will really be the silver lining of the next couple of days. You may have already noticed it today, and it resulted in drier conditions, not only when it comes to the moisture in the air, but also rainfall. We're not seeing any on our radar right now, and we didn't really pick up on any throughout the day either. We do still have some clouds hanging on behind our cold front that moved through. That cold front is now sitting down towards the south of us. It's still leading to some rainfall across portions of South Georgia. as well as into Louisiana, but it's leaving us much quieter and much drier. That cold front really didn't produce much of any rainfall for us anyway as it moved through yesterday. This cold front has also led to some very heavy rainfall across the northeast, and then comparable off towards the west, some varying conditions. Instead of rainfall there, we're dealing with heat. We've essentially had a heat dome that's set off across the western United States over the last few days. That heat dome has led to record-breaking high temperatures across portions of the area, especially into Arizona, where we've seen temperatures above the triple digits for days on end now, which isn't unusual for them, but their normal high temperature in Phoenix is right around 107 for this time of year, and those temperatures are well exceeding it. That heat dome is continuing to push eastward, which unfortunately doesn't bring much relief for the central or the western U.S., but it does push some of that heat our way. So high temperatures going to be getting even hotter the next couple of days. We do have heat advisories, excessive heat warnings, excessive heat watches that extend across the western U.S. These come as close as Louisiana and into portions of Mississippi, but so far none have been issued for Atlanta. Tomorrow, we're not going to get up to that dangerous heat level. Our high temperatures will be a couple degrees above average, sure, but pretty close to where they were today, right around 94 degrees in Atlanta. Thankfully, we'll also have that relatively low humidity to keep our feels like temperatures a little closer to the actual air temperature. By Tuesday, highs climb up to 96. By Wednesday, we're peaking right around 98. I think Wednesday and Thursday will be the hottest days of the week, and on top of that, we'll also bring back more humidity by Thursday as well. While we will get very close to record, these numbers in the brighter red color, those are our records for those days. I think we'll end up being just shy by a couple degrees each and every afternoon. That humidity builds back in by Thursday and into Friday, and that means our feels like temperatures get much less comfortable. By Thursday, as we hit highs in the mid to even upper 90s, it's going to feel like the triple digits area wide. Our next incoming cold front will come through by Friday night. Yes, that will bring a little bit of relief from the heat, and it will also bring our next chance for rainfall. Our forecast track for tomorrow, going to speed through it pretty quickly because there's not a lot to look at. Little mix of sunshine and cloud cover weather-wise for your morning commute tomorrow. Looks fantastic. Same goes for the afternoon and the evening. Some cloud cover here and there, but otherwise not much to worry about. Rain chances do start to creep back into the forecast by Wednesday and Thursday as our humidity rises, but it's not until Friday and early Saturday morning that I think rain chances look a little bit more promising and that cold front comes through. This incoming cold front is going to bring some relief from the heat. It'll knock us from the upper 90s, very close to the triple digits in some spots Wednesday and Thursday, back down into the low 90s with perhaps some lower humidity once again by next weekend.
No winners to report from the massive Powerball. Perhaps you should play the numbers from the Wizometer there. That would prove to be warm and lucky. No ticket for Saturday's drawing matched all 6 numbers, so it means that Monday's jackpot soars to just under $1 billion, $900 million, and it makes it the 3rd biggest Powerball jackpot of all time. It is massive. While no one hit the big prize, 2 tickets in Texas, 1 in Colorado matched all 5 white balls for a $1 million payout. And if you missed them last night, quickly grab your ticket. Here we go. You ready? The numbers, well, there they are. But if you think you're lucky, it is a 1 in 292.2 million chance of victory there. So good luck. The Braves' first series back from the All-Star break could have gone better. A recap of Sunday's series finale with the White Sox is coming up next. So here we are. It is the second half of the season, and the Braves with a tough draw against a White Sox team that has been strong and stout, and it continued this way into Sunday. And May was the last time the Braves lost a series. A win today would have made it 12 in a row. Second inning, Colby Allard on the mound, giving up a 2-run blast to Jake Burger. Now 3-0 Robert Jr. for Chicago with the RBI single, and Allard is done after 1 2/3 innings. The Braves said he left due to a sore left shoulder. Matt Olson responsible for the lone Braves run, an RBI single in the third. Braves dropped the series finale to the White Sox. Chicago roughed them up 8-1, so their streak of 11 straight series wins over for now. Max Fried inching closer to a return to Major League Baseball after his second successful rehab start. He threw 3 innings for the Rome Braves yesterday, 2 hits, no walks, 3 Ks. The Braves' goal for his rehab process. 3 or 4 minor league starts so far. He has 2 good ones. World number 1 and number 2 took center court at Wimbledon. Oh, one to remember, not to forget. This is an instant classic for the men's title. It's Novak Djokovic. He was vying for his 5th Wimbledon title in a row. Carlos Alcaraz, the young star who is on his way aiming for his first. Alcaraz only 20 years of age, and he outlasted Djokovic. 5-set thriller, a match that went almost 5 hours. Djokovic, 7-time Wimbledon champion, and Alcaraz says it meant so much to him to be able to beat his hero, the man that he always looked up to.
Since I was born, you know, you already was winning tournaments. You know, it's amazing. Probably you are in a very good shape than me. You just said that the 36 is the new 26, and you make that happen.
All right, coming up in a couple of minutes, Maria Martin is back with Sports Extra, and they are talking about the Braves.
What did you like most about what you saw before the All-Star break?
Everything. What was there not to like about this Braves ball club? They've done such a great job navigating, whether it was pitching injuries, whether it was fielding injuries, whether it was guys being cold, some guys being hot. I mean, it's been an unbelievable team effort.
Bar none, Uncle Charlie is doing things that we never thought would be expected from him. He's out there being that third star that the Braves really need.
All right, Sports Extra is up in a couple of minutes. The SEC Media Days, the annual tradition in Nashville tomorrow, so there will be a lot of chat about football. We'll take a break. We're back by now.
A quiet, calm, mild night. Be really comfortable tomorrow morning. We'll wake up to temperatures upper 60s, low 70s. Little mix of sunshine and cloud cover tomorrow. I think we'll have some cloud cover linger, especially through the first half of the day, and then pull out more sunshine for the afternoon hours. It's hard to avoid the heat this time of year, and our heat is really amplifying as we move into the middle of the week. Luckily, humidity remains pretty low Monday, Tuesday, even into Wednesday, but by Thursday, the combination of upper 90s and higher humidity could lead to some close to dangerous levels of heat. So that is something we're going to be watching. With more moisture in the air, rain chances also return to the forecast. That will bring a little bit of heat relief next weekend.
That's the way it's supposed to look in late July, but that doesn't mean that we have to like it.
You know, you never like it.
Think positively. I know this group will be doing that. We start at 4:30 a.m. with all the weather news and information you can humanly handle.